just a minute here, and I want to show you guys how Alan rigs up this structure rig thing. It's really cool, and not only that, but it's a good way to fish brush. And we wanted to come out here today and fish brush and show you how easily it is to fish brush and not get hung up very much. Now, we've gotten hung up a little bit, but we haven't lost a jig in the brush today, have we? So I want to show you how he does this. And I believe you've seen it done before, but for those of you who haven't, it's really easy to do. You know, most of the time, let me use my old one here first. Most of the time, you know, when you go out fishing for crappie, you'll take your jig head and you'll come through just like this until you get right about there, and then you'll pop your hook out. And then you push your head all the way up on there. Now, don't get me wrong, guys, that's a really neat way. I did it this way for years, crappie fishing. But, you see that right there? That hook sticking out right there is going to get you hung up a bunch. Now what Alan does is this is what he calls his Triad Bait structure rig. We got an 1/8 ounce jig head, and you can see there's no barb on there, and the reason for that is that the barb will tear up this flesh or this plastic, and it'll just make it won't work as good. You just come through that first little spot on the head, okay? Turn your thing, turn your grub around and come all the way up to your jig head, like so. All right? And then all you do then is you just take your hook and stick it in there, so it just like you'd be bass fishing, just so the hook just barely pokes out. And I'll push the bait back out a little bit so the hook is just beneath the plastic. And then you're going to fish it just like that. And the crappie comes up, or the white perch, or the yellow perch, whatever you fish for, they come up and they grab that. And the first thing in the top of their lip is going to be that hook. And that's just barely sticking there. I can just barely feel it. And you're going to have to set the hook. You're using this technique right here. Usually, they'll hook themselves a lot, okay? If you're using this technique right there, you're going to have to get used to maybe setting the hook a little bit, but not a whole lot. And I'll guarantee you'll go out there and you'll fish that rig in brush piles like we are, and you'll catch a whole lot more fish and lose a lot less bait and not have to tie on as much because you're not getting hung up. But that's just one of our tips right there that we wanted to show you on today's show. And if you try this out, I think you'll just love fishing crappie trying it that way.